telling you about small independent landlords in limbo these days, saying their tenants are taking advantage of them, and the eviction moratorium that's been in place since the pandemic.
And we spoke to a couple in Brooklyn who say despite an assault charge, they can't get their tenants out. CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge reports.
Video shows tenant Edgardo Moreno covering up a surveillance camera at his home in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Other times, he can be seen giving the camera the middle finger. He lives downstairs. His landlords live upstairs. The two have been involved in a housing dispute ever since COVID began, when the tenants stopped paying rent, despite allegedly not filling out a COVID hardship form or claiming rent relief.
We even made them aware of the rental assistance program from the city before we took any legal action. And we were met with no response. Zero money, zero communication, only aggression and harassment.
This video shows the landlord, Mario Kaiser, outside fixing the mailbox when the tenant appears to knock his toolbox, hitting him. Police arrested the tenant in connection with this incident, charging him with assault. Despite the landlords filing a restraining order, they still can't evict them.
It's debilitating. We are forced to live in fear in our own house.
We reached out to the tenant's attorney, who claims the landlords have bullied his clients and refused to negotiate a reasonable settlement. We also spoke to the tenant's wife, who we're not naming.
I lost my job at the beginning of COVID.
Under Governor Cuomo's eviction moratorium, tenants suffering from COVID hardship are protected from eviction until May, with one exception, nuisance cases, which the Kaiser's attorney did file.
Created a very narrow exception for exactly this type of case, objectionable conduct. They're scaring other tenants in the building. In this case, it just so happens that the other tenants are the owners. But I did speak to some judges about it, and it turns out that they're not going to be dealing with it in any meaningful amount of time. City
Councilor Joe Borelli says with the laws stacked in tenants' favor, many of his constituents are hesitant to rent at all.
These are people that just own a house. I mean, they don't own multiple buildings. They're not, real estate tycoons. When they come to ask for relief from the courts, from the state of New York, the governor has made that impossible for them.
If this continues, we will lose the house.
The Kaisers say they are now out more than $30,000 in rent and are $20,000 behind on their own mortgage payments. In Bushwick, Brooklyn, Natalie Duddridge, CBS 2 News.